Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the new series, Executes Guides. It's going to be a little bit like Retakes Guides in the sense of how I'm going to be going through everything, except, of course, it's just going to be flipped, and we're going to be going over the executes instead. We're going to start with executing B. This is such an easy site to execute, in my opinion, so we're going to make a couple assumptions as per usual. Now, the first assumption is that you have banana control. We're not really going to talk about you not having banana control because in that case, you're not ready to execute. So we're going to assume a couple of things. And the first thing being that you've taken banana control. However you want to do that. So you have banana control, and let's say this is the situation. So you mollied corner, you forced them back, they're on site. Now you're going to come up and you're going to do the general stuff. So you're going to flash, just push these guys off. Okay, now we're ready to execute. Okay. Now, when this guy sees you, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to throw this smoke. Okay, we're going to call this the banana smoke. We're going to assume that this banana smoke is there the entire time you're setting up your execute, and then we're going to assume that it's about to fade or it just got resmoked by the time you're going, okay? So, we're going to be setting up our execute. Now, the first thing that you're going to need, of course, and the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to throw a CT smoke. Now, the CT smoke, you just get in the middle of this here doorbell, and you're going to aim at the top of the smokestack, okay? Or the smoke column, I don't know, whatever. It's going to smoke CT. Now, you want to smoke CT a little bit before you're actually ready to throw the rest of your stuff. Because, especially on B site, if they haven't already thrown the banana smoke, as soon as you throw that, they're going to. Because executing on B is really hard if you have to come through the smoke. Now, we're going to talk about a couple of ways to handle that. But in general, you want to throw the CT smoke a little bit before, just so that you can get the smoke out. Now, you will have to be ready for a couple of things while we're setting up our execute, and the first one is called the coffin flash. The coffin flash, the CTs are going to regress into top banana, and you need to be ready for that. So, best to have someone playing anti-flash at the half wall, ready to go, or just playing close like this, okay? Alright, so we throw the CT smoke, and we got the banana smoke out now. What are we going to do? So we have one of our guys playing anti-flash. If you're in a pug and you're doing a B execute, it's not going to be as clean as you like, but someone should be anti, because even if you're just playing against a 2Q, or even anybody could throw that flash, you just got to be ready for it. Now, after that, what do you want? Just for a general execute, you're going to have one guy, he's going to throw this util set, which is going to be a coffin smoke, so you're going to aim to the right of here, up from this, okay? And then, this is when you have the God Flash, okay? So you're going to throw the smokes, boom, okay, the smokes are up, this smoke's about to fade. So, what you do is, everybody gets close. So, ideally, at this time, you'd already have someone to this close right corner, and someone on this side. You're going to throw what's called the God Flash. This guy that throws the coffin smoke, he's going to do this. He's going to aim down right here. Now, this is called the God Flash. You jump though, I'm going to show you exactly what this is going to blind. If someone's trying to play behind the banana smoke, he's just waiting for you to come through. He's going to eat the flash. Anybody on site is going to also be pretty much blind if they're looking at the entrance of banana. Someone playing this angle in CT, someone trying to run through the smoke, even someone boosted could be blind, but we'll talk about that. Alright, so you use that initially. So what happens with the God Flash is, boom, it goes off. These guys will start scaling across from each other, okay? So, one guy is going to go across like this, and one guy is going to go across like that, okay? And then, if your other teammates are being useful, what will end up happening is, so we'll throw this, we'll throw the God Flash, and then the guy that throws the CT smoke, and then these two guys are going to throw util, right? So this is the dark molly, you just aim at the stain right here, and then this is the new box molly, and then they're going to throw flashes the entire time that you're scaling in, okay? And the reason that you're going to do that is because anybody rotating is going to be blind, anybody boosted is going to be blind, anybody that gets forced out by the mollies, they're going to be blind, and the entire time that that's going off, your players are looking towards sight, and these flashes just are not going to blind me. So that's exactly like how you would get into like a good position to take the B site. So after that, hold on. Okay, so after that, we're going to be scaling up. This guy on the right, he could have someone next to him. It just depends. But the guy that's clearing this way, he's going to come clear the boost, even pre-fire it if he has to, and then he's going to walk up. The other two guys are going to come over here with the smokes up, of course. Let's not forget. With the smokes up. And the pathing is just going to be a crunch onto the site. So these guys will walk up this way and look this way, and the other guy will walk up this way and look this way. And if the mollies are up, you don't have to clear it. If not, then you're good to go. Okay? So then, default plant, if you guys don't know, you can plant on top of the coffin here. The reason you plant here is to stop the spam from coming in, And yeah, overall, that's pretty much how you execute the B site. It's pretty simple and straightforward. But that's just like the most standard B execute I can think of. So you just run that in any of your pugs, or even if you're just starting out in a new team, that standard B execute will win even against some of the higher level opponents that you could face. Can you plant anywhere while the CT in church? Oh, can you plant anywhere? You can, but it's just not like advised to try to plant somewhere like this because if you're playing against good players, they're going to be spamming the smokes the entire time that you're trying to like, you know, plant the bomb. So pretty much the only places that are safe, quote unquote, to plant is behind the fountain like this or default. And I guess you could plant over here, but like these plants are like not that ideal. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. There's a reason that that's the best plant spot, and it's just because it is the best. Moving on towards A. Now that we are going to be talking about A, we're going to make a couple assumptions, okay? The first one is you can't take A without having bracket, okay? So we're going to call this part bracket. So pretty much anywhere from here to here is, I mean, not cubby, but like you need to pretty much have this entire spot be safe before you can execute. The first thing that we need to do is while we're setting up our execute and waiting for our guy's banana to rotate over, we need to hold for reaggression. You can, and hold on, if you don't know what reaggression is, it's when the CTs need to like make a play, so they're gonna walk back up with mostly an op, and they're gonna clear out these angles to try to catch you off guard with like util in your hands. So you hold for reaggression. This guy can hold from like right here or like right here. You hold for these guys to push, and then if they don't push, then it's time to execute. So we're just going to do the most standard A execute, although I will touch on other ones, alright? Arch smoke, okay? Now the reason that we're going to smoke arch, from however way we want to smoke it, it probably is already smoked at this point, is because you can't watch lane and arch at the same time. If they push from both sides at the same time, if neither side is smoked, you're going to just get dismantled, okay? So another assumption that I'm going to make is that we have cleared apps to an extent, okay? So the extent being, we've cleared apps up until about here, meaning there could be someone in this corner, which is not likely at all, or there could be someone on this balcony, which is very, very likely, okay? So what that means is, when we come into our execute, I'm going to talk about pathing, okay? So an A execute, not that flashy. It's very simple. So arch is smoked just so that I can go from here to here, okay? We got to watch out for that though, because people might come through it. So an A execute is just as simple as a moto smoke. Seriously, that's all it takes. A moto smoke and a lot of flashes and mollies, okay? So the first thing you're going to do, as with anything, I taught this in retake guides, I'm going to teach this in execute guides, you need to throw a flash before you peek. This is just a flash that you, like, it basically keeps your opponents honest, okay? Because this pit player, he could be feeling it, and he could just hold and just keep peeking and peeking, but if you throw that flash, you're going to at least buy yourself a second to get past that angle. It's just essential, really. So you're going to have to start with a flash like that. So the first thing, flash, and then boom, now we're going out, okay? The apps player, because you should have a guy late apps, but you don't have to, but you should have a guy late apps. The apps player is going to be responsible for either throwing the lurk smoke, which is good, or a smoke like this, and this smoke is going to look weird, but I'll explain why it's good in a second, okay? And the reason he's going to do something like that is to eliminate angles from balcony to lane, so that this guy can't really get a bunch of kills onto the guys coming in sight. There's just too many angles for these guys on T side to clear, so we need to limit them as much as possible. So we're going to come out to under porch. Now once we get to under porch, then we can throw the molly. But if the lane players don't feel safe throwing the molly, then if the pit player, I'm sorry, the abs player threw a smoke like this, then he can come and throw this molly and pretty much just completely isolate the guy that could be on balcony. If this guy's on balcony, he's just thinking, well, I guess I'll just stay here. So he's not going to even be useful, although he could drop mini pit, but we'll deal with him in a second. All right, so we're going to molly pit and we're going to start scaling up. Now, a couple of things you could throw are the molly sight. I did teach these in retakes guides, okay? So this first molly is going to go towards back sight, which is going to deal with angles like on top of here or back there, and it's just generally really good, okay? The other one you could throw, not as highly recommended, is a molly that goes in towards default. It's all right, not the best, not the worst. But what's more likely is the CTs could, to buy themselves some space, throw a smoke like this. I'll teach you guys how to counter that. But we're going to talk about pathing now, okay? So pathing is going to be it's the same thing pretty much on every single site. We have a guy on the right and the guy on the left, and we're going to be clearing across from each other, okay? So With the good flash, the god flash on A site is right here. Okay, in this flower pot, and then you left click at the roof there. This flash is gonna blind everybody on A site pretty much. Um, Anybody standing in mini, anybody in big pit looking towards apps, anybody on site, anybody rotating from moto, anybody spamming the moto smoke, pretty much anybody on A site except for maybe someone playing like default. So yeah, absolutely need to have those flashes. So we're gonna throw these flashes while our boys are scaling up. One guy on the left, this is the Magic Skin Dupree entry path, okay? The one guy on the left, he's looking for the guy running out pit with the molly. One guy on the right, they're just going to go in together. Now, this first guy, he has a couple of choices. He can either go into the site and try to clear site, or he can just go across and take the risk to fight mini pit. It just kind of depends on what you've done, all right? So, Magic Skin Dupree, this guy is just going to trade. He's going to come in, clear site with him, clear, do whatever, and yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Now, if the CTs throw this smoke, which is very likely, okay, what you could do is, if you're coming this way, you check the balk angle. If you have no one in apps, you check the balk angle, and then you can scale up, okay? So you can scale up right here while your boy scales underneath you, and you guys will peek together. So one guy will be on top, one guy will be on bottom, and then Moto's been smoked the entire time. So after that, you can start wrapping the site and pretty much just clear it out. So it would look something like this. Me and my boy attached at the hip, running in to clear sight. We're good to go, getting into sight. Now we're planting here. Now the reason that you plant here is because it's really hard to lose the round if the bomb's planted here. Plus the bomb does like no damage to you, and so you'll live in pit if they try to even dojo you, okay? And that's pretty much going to cover executing standard. There's a couple of variations with A-Site because it's a little more open. You could throw the arch and library smokes. And if that's the case, then the only thing that changes is the guys need to take first contact from Moto before these guys in lane and apps peak, because these angles to fight towards Moto are super exposed to lane and apps, so it's going to make it really hard for them to hold on to the site, especially since these guys can't look everywhere at once. So like, if I'm on top cold and I'm trying to fight these guys, there's nothing that I can do to stop this guy from just running in and getting me. And yeah, that's pretty much going to cover how to execute A and B site on this map. And like I said, so we got the God flashes. If you're going to throw any more flashes on the execute, you would throw them like this. And the reason is because these flashes are going to land behind default. And they're not going to blind you while you're running up. And pretty much anybody in pit, anybody mini pit, anybody moto, anybody site, they're all going to be eating these flashes because they can't help it. It definitely would help if you pug with friends. Like this video isn't necessarily like retakes guides and executes guides are not made for puggers, okay? You can learn stuff if you're a pugger. You can definitely learn stuff if you're a pugger. Don't get me wrong. But it's mostly for teams. So like my audience is like open teams, IM teams, even some main teams can learn a little bit from this. I would expect most main teams actually would learn a lot from what I teach. Even some advanced teams, I would say. So yeah, that's like my target audience. So like this kind of stuff is like kind of for higher level players. Okay, so that's going to cover the first episode of Executes, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Share it with your teammates. Hopefully, I gave you guys a couple of ideas or a couple of ways to take the A and B site. This is the most standard way, in my opinion. So, you know, good luck, boys. Hopefully, you guys win more rounds, and I will see you guys in the next part. Peace.